So I've been working in fire and EMS for about 10 years, and I needed a new first aid kit for the house, for the car, just something small to carry along with the kids on trips. And so I decided to try this 273-piece Udurbo first aid kit. And all in all, I'd give it a C. It's okay. It's certainly missing some things, but for what it's billed as is just a small first aid kit for the car, camping, hiking, things like that, it's not bad. So what are some of the things I like about it? So obviously the case is very small, and there's 273 pieces in here. That's a lot of stuff in such a small case. It's also pretty hard on the outside. It's not rock solid. You're not going to want to set stuff on top of it, but it's a little more protective than just a bag or something like that. The zipper's surprisingly decent quality, which is good because zippers on bags that break are very annoying. And then once you open it up, there's a whole bunch of stuff inside. So taking a closer look at what's on the inside of this bag, well, the first thing you see is this instant ice pack. And I'm glad that they included one of these. This is one of those things, especially if you have kids, they're going to fall, they're going to get bruises, nicks, scrapes. It's good to have one of these things on hand. So I like that they put that in there. My only concern with this is if you smash this thing too much, I wouldn't want it to pop there, and then you already ruin your ice pack before you need it. Comes with a set of tweezers. I'll be honest, they're pretty flimsy. I don't really know what you would even really use these for. You might want to go get your own set and use those instead. Comes with a basic bandage. It only comes with one of them. I would think it would be good to have two of these. One of these can't do a whole lot. It can do a little bit, but not too bad. Comes with a ton of these Nuoning bandages. These are essentially like your standard Band-Aid, your standard size Band-Aid, I should say. It has some of these small circular bandages, and it has some of these butterfly shaped bandages. So you get a lot of Band-Aids, and that's obviously a good thing to have, again, especially if you have kids. Comes with a bunch of these soap wipes. Now, this is something you would use on your hands before you begin to treat a cut or something like that. Glad it came with a bunch of these to kind of wipe your hands off. Maybe you're outside, you got dirt on them. Good to have these on hand. Some sterile gauze pads. Again, these, you can never have too many of these. They give you quite a few, so that's good. Now, these aren't going to be very good for any sort of large cut or significant or really heavy bleeding cut, but it's good to have these for little things here and there. They give you an emergency blanket. That's good. That's always good to have one of these around if you are camping or hiking, or maybe you live somewhere where it's really cold and maybe, where I live, there have been times where the freeways have been shut down and people have been trapped on the freeway for a long time. So it's good to have one of these on hand as well. Maybe if your car runs out of gas on the freeway. Believe it or not, that has happened. Comes with a set of scissors, or what other people like to call trauma shears. These are incredibly flimsy. I don't know how well these would really cut anything, but I guess if all you're using it to do is just cut Band-Aids, maybe something like this, you got to cut it shorter. This would work, but anything heavier than that, if you have jeans on or something and you need to cut the jeans to get to it, I don't know how well these will do. You might want to go get yourself a different set of these. Basic tape for bandages, hold things on. That's always good to have on hand. More bandage adhesive strips. So these are just the smaller Band-Aids. The other ones were the standard size. Now they bill this as a tourniquet. Now this is a rubber band. If you're ever in a situation where you do need a tourniquet, this will not work as a tourniquet. If you wrap this around somebody's arm or leg, no matter how tight you put it, you're probably not going to stop an arterial bleed. If you want a tourniquet, and that's one of the big things that this kit is missing, an actual tourniquet, you're going to have to buy one separately. So this is one of the reasons that I would not take this hiking or camping or something like that, because if you do get a significant laceration, especially if it's an arterial one, this is not going to cut it. This is typically used in the EMS world before you start an IV to get your veins to pop so they can start your IV a little bit easier. Again, I would hope that they would have something more than this as a tourniquet. Comes with a bunch of these safety pins. Again, these are always good to have on hand in case you need to secure a bandage. Now on the other side, you have this burn dressing. Again, very good to have on hand. If you burn your hand on a lighter, it's not very big. It's pretty small. But again, if you just have a little burn, this should do okay. Triangular bandage for a sling, or if you need to wrap something, these are always good to have on hand. So I'm glad they threw one of these in here. Now these, I've never seen these. This is a alcohol disinfectant. So this is like an alcohol swab, but only in Q-tip form. I'm assuming you just break one of these and then get one end wet. I've never really seen them in this form before, but I would imagine that it would work just fine. A whole bunch of alcohol pads. Again, always good to have these on hand. You never know what you're going to need these for. And then these iodine swabs. Something basic that I wish they would have put in here would have been some sort of Neosporin or something like that, blister packs. Again, if you have all these bandages, it's good to have something like that so that you can immediately apply that before you put the Band-Aid on. But all in all, this thing is not bad. If you want just a basic thing for, little cuts, bruises, nicks, scrapes, things like that, this would actually be a pretty good one to keep in your car. But again, if you're going to do anything heavier, hunting, camping, anything like that, I would certainly add some stuff to this to make it a little more robust.